Hello, my beautiful yellowbone, redbone, butter pecan, caramel, butterscotch, toffee, mocha, chocolate, cocoa Exoticals. Welcome to the Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to the Exoticals United community. If you are new here, welcome. Here in the Exoticals United community, we support men and women from the following people groups: multiracials, biracials, multi-generationally mixed, and light-skinned golden people. So you guys know that a lot of people over in the Black empowerment space stereotype us, and they say that we think we're the shit or we're prideful. Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being proud of who you are, who your family is, or how you look. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. So just like other people say they love their 4C afros and deep skin tones, I love my hair and my skin tone. So is that wrong? Why is it insulting for a mixed person to love being mixed? Why is it offensive if a girl with curly hair loves having curls? I don't have to hate myself in order for another woman to have confidence. But let's get to the title of this video. I think my phenotype is the shit, and here's why. It's because there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who want to look like us. And some of you guys think I go especially hard on the monoracial Black community. Damn right I do. And I stand 10 toes down on everything I've ever said or done on this channel. You know why? Because the Black women empowerment space in particular has gone out of their way to antagonize anyone who doesn't look like an unambiguous dark-skinned Black woman.
I'm a confident bad bitch, dark skin, poppin'. I never down talk anybody. Like, we are back once again for yet again another dragging. Why does she think somebody is jealous of her? Honestly, look at this girl. You're a baby mother just like everyone else. What makes you think that someone is jealous of you? Like Chandler Alexis, no offense, but you're a baby mother just like any other girl.
Who the fuck do this girl think she is? Like, first of all, nobody even know you, sis. Like, I forgot she even got a channel. She's pretty much like Bianca Frogface ass hoe. Think she's better than dark skinned women.
You got dumped just like anyone. So what are we jealous of? Because there's people in better situations than you that are dark skinned. What are we jealous of? I just want to know.
You literally went across the damn pond to get some dick.
Whenever light-skinned people try to cry their light-skinned tears, it's no different than white people crying their white tears when we bring up racism.
If you're not the best looking person either, your features are pretty standard. You look like the average person, but she look like the average girl.
Okay, I'm in the middle of editing right now, but I just had to pause it right here. Has anyone noticed that there's a pattern where people love telling MLS women, oh, well, you're not the best looking, or you're not the prettiest, or you're not that beautiful, you're just average, you look like any other person, or you're mediocre, you're a 6. But when they do that, they're admitting that they think that we are the most beautiful. They're admitting that they believe that society has told us that we are the most beautiful. And that in and of itself is pedestalization. They assume that if you're a mixed woman or if you're a lighter skinned person, that you automatically have more confidence, that you're automatically more conceited because society has somehow told you that you are more attractive than others. So again, this is a typical humbling tactic used by the African American monoracial community. They think that by somehow telling us that we're not the prettiest girls in the entire world, that that's going to cause us to be less secure about ourselves and it's going to cause us to not be as confident. Meanwhile, I've never heard any girl in my entire life call herself the most beautiful girl in the world. I've never heard anyone say that. White, Black, Mexican, I've never heard anyone say that ever. So I don't know what their strategy is with that. I think that a lot of women just get so triggered by our phenotypes that they just automatically assume like, oh, she thinks she's all that. It's that typical conceited stereotype that I'm talking about.
Anytime the colorism conversation comes up, the first thing light-skinned people do is cry their light-skinned tears.
You look like the third member of the Angry Beavers, Bucky. Okay, like I'm not doing.
She look like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Notice how in that video, Queen Chama called this woman a beaver. Now, if I were to ever call a dark-skinned Black woman the name of an animal, such as a monkey or a beaver or any sort of animal, I would be called all kinds of racist. But have you noticed that when the tables are turned and you're not a dark-skinned Black monoracial woman, suddenly it's okay to call you all types of names, it's okay to call you the names of animals? So this is what I'm talking about. The hypocrisy is real. Okay, let's get back into it.
It starts at a very, very young age. And that's how they develop their self-esteem and in many cases, their superiority complex.
So if you happen to be multiracial or you happen to not be a dark-skinned, unambiguous black woman, if you have had your self-esteem lifted up from a young age, apparently, according to Chrissy, that equals having a superiority complex and thinking that you're better than others. These women are so insecure that they literally think that if you have high self-esteem, that you automatically think you're superior to others.
Light-skinned women, they know they're beautiful based on what everyone else says to them, okay? They get their validation from being chosen over dark-skinned women.
I think it's funny how she said that a lot of lighter-skinned women get their confidence and self-esteem from being chosen over darker women, but if you are chosen for something, whether that's a relationship or a job or an opportunity, you're chosen over other light-skinned women as well, and you're chosen over white women, Mexican women, and all other women. So I don't understand why she automatically makes it like, oh, it's specifically because they're chosen over dark-skinned women. I've also heard this odd stereotype that mixed women purposely try to become friends with dark-skinned black women or fat women so that we can take all of the attention away from them or so we can look prettier standing next to them, and that is so false. It's almost as if a lot of these women have a mindset where it's like, oh, you can't possibly just want to be genuine friends with a dark-skinned black woman. You can't possibly just genuinely like a woman who's overweight. And so they devalue their own phenotype. They devalue women who are overweight so much to the point where they just assume no one wants to be friends with you. So if a pretty girl is friends with you and you're overweight, it's because she just wants to outshine you. And that's got to be the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. Fat women can be good friends. Fat women can be nice and kind and sweet and fun to be around. Dark-skinned black women can be good friends or fun to be around. So I don't understand why there is an automatic assumption that if you're friends with someone who happens to be overweight or who happens to be dark-skinned, it is specifically because you are trying to boost your own ego by outshining them.
They got round faces like Thomas the Train, JJ the Jet Plane, Oscar the Grouch, like Beyonce.
No, it's the real stuff. She does kind of look like Bucky from Fat Albert. Mm-hmm. She does kind of look like that. But like, I just say this to say, like, girl, you're not the cutest of the bunch. So to think that someone is jealous of you because of your looks, please have a look in the mirror.
Again, there goes Queen Chama with the whole, you're not the most beautiful woman in the world, therefore, how dare you think that someone is jealous of you? Anyone in the Pretty Girl Club knows that you don't have to be the most beautiful woman in the entire world for someone to be jealous of you. Because number one, there's no such thing as the most beautiful woman in the entire world because everybody has different standards of beauty. And number two, jealousy has nothing to do with you and it has everything to do with that person and their own insecurities. So anyone can be insecure about themselves to the point where they get jealous of someone else. It doesn't mean like, oh, if someone's jealous of me, it's because I'm automatically the most beautiful woman in the world. Like, people have these grandiose assumptions about what mixed race people are thinking in our heads, and it just shows how obsessed a lot of these people really are.
You know, it seems that light-skinned women and mixed women and other races of women have gotten the memo on this, and dark-skinned women haven't. You know, they are definitely competing with you for men. The light-skinned women and the mixed women, they come in, they steal the show. Don't tell us that, you know, this self-esteem and self-love that you supposedly want us to get is something that we're just supposed to develop out of nowhere on our own. When light-skinned women, they don't develop theirs on their own. They get it from being preferred over dark-skinned women. Light-skinned women are allowed to intentionally go out with dark-skinned women and soak up all the attention. They do it on purpose. They will show you up, dark-skinned woman. They will use their looks to attract more men than you. They do it all the time. They do it every day. Even your own friends. They will do it and turn around and tell you that they love you and they'll be cool with you. So you can do the same thing. What really happens is that the mixed woman is being singled out over all of the other women, especially if they're dark-skinned. She is being singled out, and she is simply the quote-unquote pretty girl in the group in the eyes of men. Light-skinned women and mixed women with the type 3 hair, you think that's making you look good as a black woman, but then you look up and she's the one getting the endorsements, right? She's the one on the commercials. She's the one that gets the opportunity. She's the one that gets these mainstream media opportunities, not you. We allow them to steal the show. Light-skinned women, many of them going out of their way to get attention over dark-skinned women. Okay, they're competitive and you're not. What I'm saying is it doesn't behoove you to be inclusive.
They'll try to humble us and say, well, you're still an N-word. But in the same breath, they'll complain about how we're erasing them and taking over and how we're more privileged than them and how we're somehow higher up in the colorism hierarchy. So which one is it? Either I'm a part of your community or I'm in a separate community that is more privileged. A lot of unambiguous black women and men have tried to humble MLS people, but this is the same group that wants to date and marry an MLS person. They want to look like a dark-skinned mixed woman by putting these curly wigs on and contouring their features, or they want to create more of us because they have children with non-black people. So if you're antagonizing me and saying I'm somehow colorist or racist against black people, but then you turn around and lust after my light-skinned brother, try to have hair like my dark-skinned mixed cousin, and then have a baby by an MLS or non-black man so your daughter can look like me, who's the real hypocrite? A lot of people will say that mixed-race women or women who are light-skinned wish that we looked like an unambiguous black woman. No, we don't, and you know it. Because if we did, there would be no light-skinned people, because we would all be tanning ourselves as dark as possible, and we would be wearing afro wigs instead of our own hair, and we would be trying to do our makeup to make our features look more broad, like an unambiguous black person, so it's complete BS when they say that monoracials are the blueprint. No, they're not the blueprint. The mixed-race phenotype is the blueprint, regardless of skin tone. The average monoracial black woman tries to look like a dark-skinned exotical, and the average non-black woman tries to look like a light-skinned exotical. So there you have it. We are the blueprint. And has anyone noticed that people go out of their way to make memes and call MLS people ugly? Why would you go out of your way to call people ugly? A person who is confident in themselves doesn't spend their time trying to call other people ugly. You've never heard me call a black woman ugly on this channel. You've never heard me call a dark-skinned, unambiguous black man ugly on this channel. Even if you look at this channel, out of all of the hypocrisy that I've seen in the black empowerment space, not once have I ever called any of these men or women ugly. You know why? Because blackness is still a part of me. I have no reason to call an unambiguous person ugly because my own grandmother is an unambiguous black woman. I have aunts that are unambiguous, so there's no need for me to call them ugly because I would be insulting my own family members. But when people online call us ramen noodle head ass bitches, or they say we age like spoiled milk, that tells me that they are so far removed from our backgrounds and phenotypes to the point where they feel comfortable completely tearing us down. Has anyone noticed that a lot of the most aggressive black empowerment content creators are often from entirely different nationalities where the population is majority black or straight up African? That shows me that not only do you not have family members that are MLS, but your cultural background doesn't even include MLS people to the point where it's almost like you see an MLS person as a white person. In fact, I've even seen some of them call us Karen's daughters or Maria's daughters or Ling Ling's daughter. First of all, that is true racism. Who in their right mind would call an Asian woman Ling Ling or call a Latin American woman Maria and a white woman Karen? Meanwhile, this is the same group of women that will get some money and then rush to buy a house and live next door to Karen, and then they lust after Karen's son. So who's the real hypocrite? I think true jealousy comes from the fact that mixed people have both blackness and non-blackness. And if you're multiracial, you have even more, because you could have black, white, Asian, native, and the list goes on. So it's easier to connect with a wide array of cultures, because for a lot of you, those cultural practices are in your family, and the DNA itself is in your bloodline. So I think that can be intimidating to a lot of monoracial people, not just black people, but white people as well. We do not spare any smoke for white people on this channel either. I think a lot of people are threatened by our existence, which is why they try to downplay our identities. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Has anyone ever tried to downplay your identity? Are you proud of being an MLS woman? Let me know in the comments section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.